What's up, Cloud Gamers? Welcome to another episode of CGX. This is the Cloud Gaming Podcast, and we have some, again, awesome members of this panel. We're going to be discussing some really cool stuff today. If you guys didn't know, Hitman 3 was released for pretty much all of the major cloud gaming platform, released for Stadia, Geforce Now, Shadow PC. So we're going to be talking about that a lot here. We're going to be talking about news from Geforce Now with 6 games being available. Give me a second. Again, every Tuesday we get a Stadia update, so we'll be talking about that too. Some Shadow news that was discussed with a roadmap. Some of those features are now available, some in beta, so we'll be discussing that too. So again, a lot to talk about. If you're a cloud gamer, this is an awesome podcast for you. So let's get into it. So we would like to just check in with the members of the panel, see what you guys are up to, see what you're playing, and also what platform you've been playing those games with. So to get started, let's start with Holt, sir. How are you? What game have you been playing? What platform? Also, tell us what content creator you've been watching as of late.
So sadly this year I still haven't dived back into the cloud games that I've got because I was too invested with playing Fire Emblem last week, and I'm just hitting 50 hours onto that. So when I finish that, I'm going to jump back into my Stadia backlog. But at the moment I was playing Monster Hunter Rise demo. You know, it was seeming a bit interesting. I picked the wrong character and it made the game a bit boring for me because it was too slow paced, and because I was fatigued from previous games, I wasn't really interested in yet. And that's not the game's fault. It was just my fault being, a bit fatigued. So the people I actually been watching this week was I started watching Queen Rach on Red Dead Redemption 2. She's a very funny personality, and she engages well with the community and the chat and all that. So I've just tuned into her like twice this week. And there was another person that I've been following, XB Games. So I've just been watching his podcast with a few panel members that we know, like Avery and Ray3473. So it's just been interesting to see what their takes on the news and games and that this week.
Cool. Awesome. Good to see you on here, Holtz, as always. How about you, Duncan? What have you been up to? What games have you been playing? What platform? Also, what content creator?
I'll just get this out from the way first. I haven't been really watching any content creators this week. I've just been too busy doing other stuff. And that's no disrespect to anybody at all. The games I've been playing Planet Base on Geforce Now. I've been playing some F1 on Stadia. And I've been just messing about with my stupid games on a Shadow as well. I've got stuck in there, though, these wee stupid wee games, which I'm too embarrassed to actually say what they are. So you can all just imagine, and some of them games Holtz plays.
Yeah, he's really playing all them dating simulators. That's why
I can tell you for a fact it's definitely not that. I'll come clean then. I like my idle simulators, like a venture capitalist and things like that. Okay. It's just to have something running while I'm doing other stuff. So that is my confession from the way I love them games.
You're right. Did you say idle simulator?
Idle. It's like a clicker. Like where you have to click and you level up and just do things.
I thought you said idle, like like them Japanese showgirls and stuff like that.
See, I knew your mind would go straight there. That's why I didn't want to go in and talk about it earlier. But yeah, I've been having them silly games going on while I've been doing other stuff as well. So yeah, that is my confession. I've been actually busy this week doing bits and bobs.
Nice. How about you, Mark? Where have you been playing? What platform? Also, what content creator have you been watching as of late?
Same as Duncan, I've been too busy this week to watch anything, but did find some time to do some gaming. Jump back into Battlefront 2, which seems to be like a yearly tradition now. I like to jump back in just to see if it's going to disappoint me for another year, like how long it's going to hold my attention. I always enjoy it. It's just not something that you can like stick with forever. In terms of from last year to this year, I think they basically added a couple of skins in since the Rise of Skywalker. That was about it. There's no new game modes. It's definitely not old school Battlefront 2 like we're all hoping for. So we'll have to wait to see what Ubisoft are going to do with this open world game they're planning now that EA's hold over the Star Wars franchise has come to an end.
I think it's a good thing. Give other people a chance. You know, Star Wars is such a huge franchise, and I'm interested to see what other people can do with it for sure. Right?
Absolutely. After 10 years, there have been some notable things, but it needs a refresh. It needs a kick in the pants from somebody else.
Right. True. How about you, Ben? What you been up to? What game have you been playing? What platform? Also, what content creator have you been watching as of late?
I've been doing the same as Mark. I've been playing a lot of Battlefront 2.
Interesting.
Played it on Shadow, of course.
Okay.
Ghost Recon, obviously, especially with the free weekend. There's a lot of people on there right now, and then they also have that new Rainbow Six crossover event.
Yep.
So I was playing a couple of those missions. That was fun.
Cool. So you excited to see how is the service? Because I know when you guys play, I know you play hardcore, right? It's still kind of difficult to find people to play with, right? But did you feel like with this weekend update thing that you were able to find games a lot faster?
There's definitely games going on at all hours of the day now instead of
That's
just in
good.
the evenings. You do still have to wait, anywhere from 6 to 20 minutes for a game.
Oof. My goodness.
But yeah, unless you're squatted up, and then you can get in a little bit faster sometimes.
Right. By the way, just want to give a shout out. I know a lot of people are just getting to that game because it's free this weekend, but there's a huge Ghost Recon Stadia community, and Ben is a part of it, right? And so just want to give a plug. If you guys want to continue playing that game and you can't find people to play with, just join the Discord and link up with those guys because you guys take it serious, man. You guys are hardcore.
We're getting pretty close to our 300 marker on the amount of people on that server.
It's insane.
So, yeah, we can get raids going at all times of day. We have PvP matches at most nights. So yeah.
That's dope. Cool. So for me personally, I've been trying to get back into Destiny. So my thing is, like I need some more. I'm a multiplayer guys. I like my single play campaign, right? But every once in a while, when I want to just kick back, I love just playing games online, competing with people, or playing games with people, and that has been my biggest gripe with Stadia. The fact that there hasn't been a decent online competitive shooter. Yes, I know Breakpoint's available, but realistically, like Ben was saying, even with the game being free, you still have to wait 6 to 20 minutes to find the game. Imagine it not being free. It's just kind of a pain. So Destiny, I feel like, is one of the most populated shooters right now. So I'm in a way trying to make my way back to Destiny, and man, it's hard. It's hard. The new expansion is dope, but man, just learning how to play that game again, it's difficult. Anywho, I'm still trying to get into 2K, but content creator wise, I would say I've been watching Stadia Vet Gaming. I believe that's still his name. But just wanted to give a shout out to the dude because he's a streamer, right? And he's been trying to find it seems like he runs into issues with streaming, but I love the dedication. He's always trying to find a way to still stream, even though he still continues to run into issues. I would say Meg, right? Been watching her content as well. She's, been back. She got her camera back, by the way, so it's pretty cool to see her up and rocking again. And also Flesh, if you guys are not familiar with him, he is a new Stadia content creator. So definitely make sure you go give him a look. Good stuff over there for sure. But that is the content creators I've been watching as of late. So we're going to get into some cloud gaming news, and we always start off with Geforce Now, right? Good stuff for them this week. They got a AAA game that, well, I don't know if you want to call it AAA, but good enough game with Hitman 3, right? But then altogether, they had 6 games. Actually, one just released recently, so you can call it 7 games this week with Everspace 2. But just want to talk to the panel, see if you guys have touched any of these games in GeForce Now, And if so, which one did you guys end up picking up? So the games are Hitman 3, again, Everspace 2, Redout, Space Assault, Gloomhaven, Night of Full Moon, Rift, and Spellbreak from the Steam store. So again, checking what you guys. Will start with Duncan. Have you played any of this game, and do any of these games catch your interest?
I have played a grand total of 0 of them games on GeForce Now this week. However, I do have opinions on them here. We call out Stadia for when they do a wee mess up, which is quite right to do. And people say we are very easy on the other platforms.
Right.
GeForce Now made a mess up this week. I actually refrain myself from saying something else there. Hitman 3, we didn't know that was coming until the actual day, because they've been doing the monthly things, what games are coming, and I'm pretty sure Hitman was not mentioned until the actual day it was coming, so that we should have maybe had a bit more notice of that. Aren't I right in saying that? There was lots of confusion around Hitman until the day.
Yeah, I don't believe it was on that list at the start of the month.
Yeah.
No.
So I think they needed to maybe get that out a wee bit earlier, because there was some stuff going on about that. With the other games, I'm actually pretty excited to try, and I keep on forgetting about it, is Night of Full Moon, because it's a card-based game and it is a free-to-play game. So I just need to remind myself to go and play these games. There's just so many games getting added to GeForce Now. They've added how many over the last month? I would say they got stuff about 20 games over the last month, if not more.
Right.
And they just keep on adding and adding and adding. And there's just so many free to play games on there. They're not going to let them park that way. But the Hitman was a slight no, it wasn't. It was a misstep there, and we should have probably been told about that a bit earlier.
Okay, fair enough. Again, it's good. That's what we try to do on this podcast and the channel. Again, like Duncan was saying, you guys give us a hard time saying that we go easy on the other cloud gaming platforms and go hard in Destiny, go hard in Stadia, right? But again, we're fair here. If companies are not, meeting expectations, we call them out on it. But next, I want to check in with Ben. What's your take on these games coming to the GeForce Now platform, sir?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good loadout. I agree with Duncan. I was kind of surprised that I hadn't heard that Hitman 3 was coming to GeForce Now until basically the last minute when I saw the tweet pop up. Honestly, out of all these games, the only one that actually catches my eye is Gloomhaven, because I've actually played the tabletop game for it before. Oh. It's a lot of fun. So if it's anything like that, it seems like it would be a fun game.
Okay, cool. How about you, Mark? What's your take on these games coming to GeForce Now?
I think it's good that they are kind of living up to basically what they said at the start of the month when they released that list of games for January. They said, here is everything up front, but be aware that there's still more games which, publishers haven't come out yet. They haven't confirmed with us that they're going to follow the opt-in model. So stuff, even though we get that big list at the start of the month, we're still getting these week by week updates and the list doesn't look any shorter than normal, honestly. Yeah. So it's kind of like we get the big chunk ahead of time. We get to kind of plan out. We said that was a good move because you can kind of plan out what you're going to play. And we're kind of getting the best of both worlds because we're also getting this week by week update for kind of day and date releases, stuff that hadn't been confirmed. So I like the new model. I like this list. I completely agree with Duncan. It was a miss that because people like to pre-order or at least plan where they're going to pick up their titles, where they can play it on, especially with cloud gaming, because it just depends on which device you're going to be able to use.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would have been good to get a heads up of Hitman 3, definitely. But I mean, in that list, there are 3, I'm not sure about 2 of the others, but definitely free to play games in there, which is awesome. So from what I'm aware of, Night of the Full Moon, Rift, and Spellbreak are all free to play. Right. So yeah, GeForce Now just continues to be one of the best platforms to just go and hoard as many free games as you can grab and just build up this library without paying anything. So yeah. I'm happy.
Right. They should market that more. I feel like that's something they have over everyone, right? I mean, Stadia just started the free-to-play library, which they only have 2 at the moment, or maybe 3, right? But I think last count, it was over 50, and they are AAA. They're not, just... I mean, Fortnite, you have Apex Legends, you have Warframe, you have Destiny. I mean, you have it all here, and they're not marketing it. But again, yeah, this is good stuff. Oh, what's your take on Geforce Now?
Do you know, when I seen this list, I was looking, I'm thinking, I'm sure Spellbreak was already on Geforce Now. But then I looked, I'm going, they haven't took it away. No, then I must have thought, we must have covered it on other platforms, so it's a bit late to the game. I mean, it looks really interesting. I remember saying it, it's like something that you'd see in like Naruto doing a jutsu, or something that you would see in the Last Airbender with like sort of magical spells, fights to death, last person standing. So I remember thinking that was very interesting. But the game that caught my attention was Night of the Full Moon. I really like the sounds of it, playing that card turn-based story of Little Red Riding Hood trying to look for Granny, and you sort of fight creatures that you would find in a Brothers Grimm tale.
Yeah.
It's set in a dark forest. So that seems interesting. I mean, I would never play it on a PC or a big telly, but it would interest me walking around to me because it looks more mobile. I would play it on a tablet or a phone. So that really interested me to check. And then when I seen Rift, I thought, wasn't Rift that like massive multiplayer online game? I was like, that was years old. So when I saw it, I was like, wow, they're bringing free-to-play mobile games and years old games. So it didn't really entice me this week seeing it. I mean, great for people who want to play it, but I was like a bit confused this week.
Rift is from 2013.
Yeah.
And, I checked. There's hardly anyone playing it.
So when someone says, "Oh my God, we're bringing Rift this week," I was like, flat. I was scratching my head. So
yeah.
Spellbreak was already on Geforce Now. It came on through Epic. First.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So we were saying this last week, when Epic, you classify one game as Epic, one game as Steam, one game. So when it's new news, I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure that game
was already there.
Yeah,
I have to scratch my head a lot too with that, for sure.
I was going to say the big news for me was what came yesterday, or was it Thursday? It was late Thursday or early Friday, or for us over here, with the Everspace 2.
Yeah.
If you actually read the tweet which they put out, it is due to for demand of people actually doing it. So they went out and did it straight away to get it on. And we know Everspace, the original game, is also coming to Geforce Now. So that is real good news there with that. I'm quite interested actually picking that up, because I've actually changed it from a roguelike into a let's just go and building it up from scratch. It is that for me was pretty big news. That you wanted it, you've got it. That's what you're saying. So it was actually brought by demand, and you can see if you want a game on Geforce Now, if you go, I'm not saying bombard them with emails and tweets, but if you actually let your feelings know that you want it, it's so easy for developers to actually put the games onto the platform, and that is a massive I can't say differentiate. Someone said for. There we go.
But see See, what's confusing me, what's confusing me is just like the Game Pass model. It's like developers are opting into the program. So when they opt in, they should say all clients, Steam, you play this. They shouldn't just list one and go, okay, next time I'll opt in another one and opt in another one. Just like Xbox goes, well, we'll opt into Game Pass, but I only want it for console, not cloud, or not PC.
I would put that onto Epic more than anything at this moment in time, with their aggressive, I will use the word, moves into the PC market. I think the Spellbreak, I think that possibly was some sort of exclusivity period or something along that lines. But yes, it is absolutely really annoying that they're not just putting them Epic and thing, but because Ubisoft do that, it's going to be available in the Epic Store and Ubisoft, or whatever it's called now, because I keep on changing Ubisoft Connect.
Yeah. True. Yeah, I agree with that. Holt. So did we touch on everyone here with the news? Because I got something to say if we haven't. So this is quite interesting, and again, I think you guys are right. I actually was contacting Geforce Now to see if Hitman 3 was going to come, and we heard absolutely nothing until just the day before. And yeah, someone was saying on here, when it comes to like making purchasing decisions, good to know, right? Am I gonna purchase this on Epic, or I think it was Epic exclusive, right? Am I gonna purchase it on Epic, or just wait for only getting in Stadia? Because again, if GeForce Now is out of the picture, you can then do the math. Do I want to only just use Shadow Max then to play this? But yeah, I agree. They should have been more quick with announcing that this was gonna come to GeForce Now platform. But as far as all the other 6 games, all the other 6 including the space game, I it's a good list. But again, I think like Duncan always says, content is key. And to me, none of these games, I'm not going to realistically play any of these games. But again, though, these games cater to some people and some people might pick it up. But me personally, didn't really catch my interest for sure. But so any other news with these 6 games? Anyone else want to add to it? If not, we're going to move to the other GeForce Now news. All right, so the next news is that GeForce Now, if you guys didn't know or heard, is going to be expanding to more countries, which is flipping incredible, right? So we have 3 new countries, and that's Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Australia. So again, especially Australia, we've been hearing that you guys have been wanting it. So just to let you guys know, it's going to be available for you guys in those countries. What's your take on this, members of this panel? I'm just going to leave it open. Anyone can jump in. Is this exciting news, or do you guys feel like this is lackluster? What's your take on this?
I think that it's exciting, but it kind of scares me at the same time because they can barely keep up with demand in the US right now. So if they can't keep up with demand, how can they be expanding?
That's a good point. Nicely said, Ben.
It's because they partner up with people in different countries, so it's not going to be them. So it's going to be, I forget that it's actually in the article, when GeForce moves into another country, they're partnering with people to actually expand it out. So it's Australian people that are going to be doing that, Saudi people doing that, and Turkish people will be doing that. So that's how they do that. For me, the Australian news is the interesting one for me, because what's actually going on in the courts in Australia at this moment in time. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm just double checking that wasn't in the thing. So
no, you can talk about it.
I can talk about that. Yeah. Basically, Google is getting brought to court by Australia, and they're threatening to take things out from the country, and you don't know how long or how big this is going to escalate for. Right. So that is very, very interesting in the battle for hearts and minds out there. If Nvidia and their partner actually get that out there nice and quick, that could be quite disruptive.
Yeah. Absolutely. That means if this goes through, Stadia will be out of Australia. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
No, I love hearing all this news where it's actually expanding and growing, because I believe these Eastern markets actually need these cloud services, and their infrastructure is ready for all this more than I would say America. I think a lot of Americans are set in their old ways where they're like, well, I'm sticking to my hardware. It's something that I know, and the internet providers put data caps, and it's just something that people are used to. But in the Eastern markets, they can't really afford all this hardware, so they have to create a new infrastructure where they're used to mobile data, they're used to this, they're used to all that, and they can't afford all this high price of games. So with GeForce Now expanding to the likes of Australia and Saudi Arabia and Turkey, it will actually, I think, will actually boom the market.
I'm going to just piggyback off that, but I'm actually more excited about the numbers will increase, and it's something I think you might find exciting. I'm actually wanting to see if this will encourage like Turkish game developers to actually put it into the Western market. Saudi Arabian. I can't wait till the cloud gaming actually goes worldwide, so we can actually try these different games and get them. Even if it's different games, different stories, different cultures, just to experience that.
Because I'm used to the Japanese market. I've always been used to the Japanese market for like 30, 40 years. But if someone can actually bring me a story narrative game from, I don't know, Saudi Arabia, I'll be really exciting to see. I won't want to shun away. So if they can bring localization to the West, I'd be really excited. But GeForce Now should actually realize that there's people like me that want to play these games. So they need to start getting the developers on board by saying, yes, bring native languages, but also bring an English version alongside it. And who knows, it might actually bring a lot of revenue in for these developers.
Yeah. There's this game that Chief was showcasing a while ago. I don't know if you guys remember it, but it's a game from a Chinese studio. It looked AAA, looked really epic. But
was it the one that I mentioned last week, Shonyon 7?
It might be.
Yeah,
I don't remember the name.
I think there was a game last week. It was a Japanese was it an RTS sort of game, or is that a different one?
It's a different one. It was more of like a Souls type game, the one that he was showcasing.
It's like an unknown developer, right?
But a good example with what you were talking about, Holtz, is like imagine a game like that. If they approach GeForce Now and say, "Hey, again from China, we want to bring this game to the masses. Can we use your platform to do so?" And then have the GeForce Now team work with them. And so just being available in other countries, it's a good way for developers to team up with GeForce Now if they're open to it, and make the game accessible to the rest of the world. But we'll see.
So I like this model they're using. I think they've got a name for it. It's like GeForce Now Alliance or something, and that is the name of the partnership with these telecom companies in other countries. Mm-hmm. It would be interesting to see, do they hold them to certain standards, SLAs, SLOs, things like that, latency. Essentially they are going to become the front of GeForce Now for these countries. So they need to, live up to like a certain quality. So it'd be interesting to see how they kind of manage that. And from these countries, whether this was just, these telecom countries in these countries have the infrastructure that's ready to go right now. They meet our standards. That's why we're starting with these, because we've said time and time again, and exactly the same as what Holtz was saying, in terms of a country to aim for cloud gaming, you've got to go India. If it's a viable opportunity, that's where you got to look. So it'd be interesting to see if they keep going with this, and that's one of the ones they'll hit next.
Yeah. Absolutely. We always talk about it here. The first company who can break in to India, man, they're gonna do pretty well. So let's see how that goes. You were gonna say something, Duncan?
I was just gonna say they're going to clean up.
Yeah.
And we all know that Microsoft and Google are fighting tooth and nail. They're both are pumping a ton of money into India, so it's going to be see who is going to get there first. I have a feeling if it's going to be Xbox, I'm putting my neck on the line. I think they're going to be first, even if it's not 100%. I think they're going to push out. If they hear any sort of whispers that Stadia is going, they're just going to push it. I think they're more aggressive.
Yeah.
If I hadn't forgotten what Luna was, then I might have even guessed Amazon, to be honest. If using the AWS infrastructure is like the biggest network in the world, I'm pretty sure they've got India pretty well covered. It's just the fact that they've completely ghosted recently.
Yeah.
No, I agree with Duncan, because the Xbox admitted that they want foreign developers and they want to target their market. So they're the first ones to openly admit and go, yes, we want to support cloud, we want foreign developers, we want to expand the ecosystem. So if they're the first ones to say it, the other ones are just sitting back in the whiteboard going, what should we do next?
Yeah. It's pretty interesting that both companies that we're discussing, Google and Microsoft, both have Indians who are CEO of the companies, right? So I would say if before Nadell became Microsoft's CEO, that sounded whatever Google CEO's name probably would have got stayed in Google first in India. But now that Microsoft does have an Indian CEO, it's going to be a tight race, man. But again, exciting to see who makes it there first, right? And we'll let you guys know. We'll talk about it here in the podcast for sure. Cool. Any other GeForce Now news? Do you guys? I know two people spoke about the three countries coming. Anyone else have anything to add before we move over to Stadia news?
I think I read that there's actually going to be for Immortals Phoenix Rise, and that's on GeForce Now and transitioning on Stadia. They're actually going to bring events out where you can actually get skins and play the sort of few events of what that Netflix Blood of Zeus is happening. So the people who like Blood of Zeus on Netflix, you can actually play some events coming up on Immortals.
Interesting.
That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool. Had no idea.
So I'm not one for skins, but I do love Blood of Zeus. So maybe if I actually do play Immortals a bit further on, I'm actually might fall into the event without knowing.
Yeah. Hey, this is a possibility. So let me ask this question, because the next thing we're going to get into is the Resident Evil announcement, and we're going to talk about it for Google Stadia. But help me remember, Capcom is not on GeForce Now platform anymore, are they?
No, I can't. I remember they took all the games off. They might be a few little ones, but they haven't got all the big ones.
Okay.
No, not at the top of my head, I don't think they are, but they do have a lot in with Amazon.
Okay, yeah, Resident Evil 7 came to Amazon Luna. Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking. So this announcement does, unless they opt back in, this announcement doesn't apply to GeForce Now. But if you guys watched the Capcom event, the Resident Evil event Village, right? We heard, or we found out, that Stadia was not a platform that this game right now is going to be released into, right? It can come later, but as of right now, it wasn't announced. People are saying that this can be a cyberpunk thing where, later on, this game's supposed to be released in the summer. So later on, they might have another conference or event to showcase this game, and then they'll, put Stadia logo at the end of it. But what's your take? Again, this rumor that Stadia spilled out 10 million to get this in 7 to come to the platform, but it's a leak. So I will put in the rumor space, right? Google didn't officially, or Capcom didn't officially come out and confirm this, but a lot of people seem upset that this did not make it to right now Google Stadia. So what's your thoughts on this, Holtz? Do you think we should be concerned? Do you still think that this is going to make its way to the Google Stadia platform?
You see, I'm upset with seeing this. It didn't actually get announced for day and date, because I don't really want to go back to the new gens and actually buy the game there when I want to focus on cloud. And I do believe this game is going to come on Stadia, but why I'm upset is I do believe it's going to come too late. So with Capcom going to make me wait, I feel like this year now I'm going to make Capcom wait for my money. I know it sounds a bit bitter, but I have to start spending with my wallet. And this is something that I really thought. If you told me what game I wanted to play in 2021, I would have said Resident Evil Village. Right. And I believe, you actually pushed CD Projekt Red to bring Cyberpunk, so why can't you push Capcom? I know they've got their own plans, but at the moment I'm really excited for seeing what's coming in 2021. And when it gets announced for other platforms, it just actually puts me in a little it's not going to Stadia. Oh no, people are going to bash me now. Oh, you Stadia lover, you haven't got this game, and it's going to make me put it in a negative light. So I hope it does come. I hope it does come soon. And if it does come sooner or later, like EA done with Star Wars, you have to bring it at a very reduced price.
Yeah. I'll talk more about my piece in a bit. But Mark, what's your take on this?
I think I 100% agree with Holtz. My prediction is it probably will be a Cyberpunk. So it will be closer to the time. Like you said, we still got enough time in between now and release date for more events, more announcements. Whether it will be a big thing or they might want to downplay that it wasn't. They didn't announce it at the start, and like you said, we'll see that end screen, we'll see the platforms, and they would have just tacked it on and hope that nobody will notice.
Right.
But yeah, it goes back to exactly what we were just saying for GeForce Now. Like, people want to plan where they're going to make their purchase and what device, because it directly impacts what device they're going to play it on. So yeah, this is the kind of stuff where we're coming to expect in the market we're in now, that we don't get a Hitman free where you just find out the day before.
Right. Sure.
And I just want to say, I feel that a lot of people are going to think of this brand as PlayStation. They got PlayStation loyalty with Resident Evil. So I think by the time the consoles, no one can get really good next-gen consoles, Series X or PlayStation 5, but I feel when it comes to the Resident Evil Village release date, they're going to push bundles of it. And people are going to say, oh yeah, where do I like playing Resident Evil? Sony. And then it's going to sort of, push cloud gaming back down again.
Hopefully not. I hear you in that one, though, Holtz. Yeah. But Duncan, what's your take on this one?
Oh, God is right. My take on this is a Stadia is not coming out looking well, no matter what happens with this Resident Evil situation. If Resident Evil 8 is not coming, it is just proven once again that Stadia is not being taken apart as a proper platform. And developers are not taking it serious, and the numbers situation is worse than we thought, because that is the reason why games are not coming. It's money, and developers have to make money. I do believe Resident Evil 8 is coming out. The leak is real. I think there's no question about the leak is real because of all the takedown notices, the statements on Capcom's site. The leak is real. So I do not know why the logo is not on the trailer. There has to be a reason why. And if it's Stadia saying it makes the situation look about 1 million times worse. If this logo was there and it's still coming like an Outrider situation, that is absolutely fine by me. Just put the logo on there. It will calm nerves. It will look like it is a proper platform. If you're saving this away for Direct or Connect, or whatever way they want to call them now, to make it look a lot better, you're actually going to make yourselves look small time, because it looks like you've went out with a begging bowl and you can't be at the big boys table. You need to be there, and the logo needs to be there, because it's easy branding for you. Because if they're going to say, oh, there's Resident Evil and it's coming to Stadia, that might Cyberpunk was maybe a bit better than the PlayStation 4, PlayStation or Xbox One. I might get it on Stadia now. It creates brand awareness and absolutely everything. It is just short-sightedness that it is not there. And if it isn't there, if it isn't coming, that is just as bad. So the situation, it's bad no matter what way you want to spin it.
So go ahead.
And expanding, like what we said, what these cloud servers expanding. Japan love Resident Evil. I think it's called Biohazard in Japan. Yeah. So imagine releasing your cloud platform in Japan and saying, look what we've got, Biohazard. Yeah. A lot of people are going to go, oh my God, it's amazing in them Eastern countries. Maybe here there's a few people that might go, oh, I'm not really thinking Resident Evil's big. But the likes of them and myself, I think Resident Evil is a big title. Yeah. And it means you are playing with the big boys.
Isn't Resident Evil where Nintendo did their first Switch cloud gaming test like years and years before they got control? Yeah.
I'm going to tell you now, that's going to be an announcement about. See, this is the thing is Nintendo could get away with that 100%. If they drop at their next Direct, all these names.
Connect,
Nintendo Direct, that was coming. They would be praised from here to high heaven like they were with Control. Stadia is in a completely different marketplace where they need to get brand recognition. Nintendo have got the goodwill so they could actually drop that. And I would say there's rumors that is actually going to be happening as well.
So do you guys think this is on Capcom or do you think this is on Google, right? So the reason I say this because I think a lot of devs have learned from Cyberpunk's mistake, right? Don't announce something too soon, right? Wait till you make sure that you have it running the way you want it to run, right? So it's that Capcom's approach to where they're like, all right, we're probably working this on Stadia, but we still have a lot of work to do, and we're not going to announce anything until we know for sure that this is going to run well. Or do you think this is a Google Stadia approach to where they're not being aggressive with paying for the marketing, right, or paying to get one of the engineers at Capcom to make sure that this runs the best? Who do you think this blame falls on? Do you think it falls on both? Do you think it falls on one? Well, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's both. I think no one's chasing the other, so there's no motivation to really have the partnership.
Okay.
I don't think Stadia is really interested in a partnership with Capcom, and I don't think Capcom is interested in cloud gaming. So between the two, it's just kind of whatever.
I think I'd say both as well. I think it probably goes. It's similar to like the Epic situation with Fortnite. So from Capcom's perspective, it's not the highest priority because the player base isn't there. And, Stadia could push for that if they throw some of that Google money around. But if they're not doing that, then it's not going to raise the priority. So, yeah, I think possibly both.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say exactly with Mark. I believe both, but money talks. Google's got the money. If you want to showcase on your platform, you should say, Capcom, we are the big players. Here's our roadmap. Here's a bit of money. Join our platform.
For me, it is 100. Or sorry, no, I'm not going to say 100%. 90 to 95% on Stadia.
Oh,
Stadia.
Yeah.
Capcom doesn't need to go on to Stadia. Let's be absolutely frank again here. It's Stadia's numbers, I think we've all said it, are poor. I think people forget that gaming is a business. And it isn't, I'm just going to write this wee script and it's going to work magically on Stadia. There's going to be time and effort to do that. And believe it or not, if you take Cyberpunk out from the equation here, there's actually a lot more things go on behind the scenes to get a game onto a platform. You have to test the game. Someone makes a test or makes a change, you have to go recheck the whole game. There is so much things behind the scene and it costs time and money. And in the case of the bigger companies, it's all about the money. Stadia should be going out there, and if this is true about the 10 million to get it on the platform, there should be agreements in place, it's day and date, and you should be pushing this to high heaven. And if Stadia, I would say Stadia would have it in their contract. If this is the 10 million, do not announce it until we announce it. So for me, this is more falling onto the actual platform holder at this moment in time, because it is such a small fish in a big, massive pond that it is fighting for scraps amongst the big boys, and they have to actually put their hands in the pockets and go, I want this game, I want that game, here's the money, go do it. They did it with Cyberpunk, they've done it for other games as well. They have to pick and choose their games. I have said it before, it is not bringing every game to the platform, it's about bringing the right games to the platform. Right. And I'm going to be touching a bit more on that later when we talk about Hitman on Stadia. It's just, Stadia is just a really, really frustrating that... I'll put a way analogy, or not analogy, it's just what happened yesterday with Xbox. Xbox is at the big table in Microsoft. They're not just one wee side pocket, or they're just doing their own wee thing. Gaming is front and center for Microsoft. Phil Spencer is on the board up there, and he answers the chief there. Google or Stadia is not in that position with Stadia. Stadia is just like a wee side thing, and we don't know how big their pockets are really to get this going. They should be out there making the platform so appealing to people. I know people are saying, "Oh, it's a new platform. It's a new platform." This is not a new platform anymore. This platform, it may only have been out for about a year and a half now. This platform is 3 or 4 years old now because the developers have known about it. It is time for Stadia to get the games on there. And if they're not going to bring the games, they're just going to be left behind.
So let me ask you this then. Do you feel or think that the other big dogs have a say? So with Cyberpunk, right? Stadia was pretty much GeForce Now. Okay. Well, my question is, do you feel or think that the other players are kind of preventing them to announce it exclusively for Stadia, right? So it's Amazon in the mix because again, we talked about Amazon's partnership with Capcom with Resident Evil 7. Maybe, right, there's a channel being created, a Capcom channel for Amazon Luna that there's money behind that, and they can't really say if it's coming to Stadia yet until like Luna gets its own announcement. Do you think this behind the scenes stuff going on like that we're not aware of? Anyone?
I'm going to say this: if Luna has got arrangements with Capcom, they better start actually telling gamers now before Village gets released that they're going to bring a Capcom channel and they're going to bring up to 4K. Because no way in hell I'm going to actually clap for Luna if they go, we've got Village, and it's at 1080. I'm going to be like, sorry, that's going to destroy the. If they come out and say, go and buy your Luna controller, Luna has got Resident Evil Village first on our cloud platform, go and buy a controller, I'll run out and get it.
Yeah.
So they have to get some marketing out and ready before this is launched. If they have got to do it.
Also need to come to the UK.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
If by some miracle they do, I don't think they do. I think the 10 million deal for Stadia is in play, and they're just being Stadia. If this Amazon deal is in play, I would say absolutely fair play to them. They are fighting for their platform. They're out there making their deals. So then the question you asked earlier, who is to blame then? It's 100% Stadia because they're not out there actually fighting, and you're either being extremely naive in the way things are working, or they just don't have the budget. It just comes down to that, and they're just a side project, and they're going to spin it off into something else. Yeah. I've said before, and I will say it again, if you thought last year was tough for Stadia, I think a wake-up call is going to be required here. It is going to be a lot tougher this year. We're going to have Xbox, we're going to have PlayStation, we're going to have Luna, and we're going to have Tencent working on their stuff behind the scenes as well. This is just heating up. And with all the acquisitions and mergers going on, if Stadia isn't in the mix here, I have concerns. I'm putting it there because it is content.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Ben, what do you have to say about this situation? Are you any of them at fault, or do you think like Amazon's playing, a hand in here to where they couldn't really put a Stadia logo at the end of the trail? What's your take on all this?
I mean, I don't know. I still think that it's kind of a little bit on both of them. I just think neither one is interested in the other.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. Me personally, I think that there's behind the scenes stuff going on. I think if Stadia, I'm hoping, right, if Stadia could announce it, they would. And something that Stadia, there was an interview sometime last year, they stated in that interview that they want to, moving forward, start keeping things closer to the chest, right? They don't want to say this is coming, or this feature is coming, or this game's coming, and then have people really excited, but then disappoint them. And realistically speaking, who can say that this game is going to release, right? Look at all the games getting delayed. That's another thing to take into consideration too, right? Maybe the engineer is working with Capcom and they're like, oh, hell no. Like, there's no way that we're going to meet this deadline on Stadia. So I think the game is coming. that deal that was leaked, I think, is legit. And personally, I think Google is playing this one close. When they are sure 100% is coming and it's going to run well, then they'll let us all know that. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that that's the case.
This is where I'm going to disagree. If it's coming, I don't care when it's coming, just when it's or if it's coming. If the game gets delayed, I'm a big boy. I will take it on the chin. I will not yap about it. If a game's coming later, for me, games coming later is not an issue. There's only some games which I feel need to be day and date, and that's the yearly titles like FIFAs, the Maddens, the NBAs, the Call of Duties. They need to be day and date. Mainly single player games, which is Resident Evil. They can slip a bit. If it doesn't come day and date in Stadia, absolutely fine. But you need to let us know if it's coming or not. And if you're not going to say that it's not, or if you're not going to say it's coming, we have to assume it's not coming. I've played the PlayStation demo. I'm absolutely loving it. And my finger is over the pre-order button on the PlayStation. And if they're going to sit there and say nothing, but it ends up coming, they're going to lose a sale. And at this moment in time, Stadia is not in a position where they can lose sales, because what do we say every week when games get announced for Stadia? I'm going to wait for it until it's pro. I'm going to wait until it's pro. No one is buying games on Stadia. Or I know people might. I will rephrase that. A lot of people are not buying a lot of games on Stadia. Buying a game on Stadia is rare because you're waiting for it to be pro.
Yeah.
They cannot miss out on this because developers talk to each other. If people aren't buying the games, the developers going, I put my game on Stadia. Only people are playing it or when it's on pro. There's no point putting it back on if you want people to buy it. This is the issue they've got. They really need to just tell us if it's coming.
Yeah. I think another missed opportunity, just being real, is the perception that, Stadia is just an afterthought, right? I mean, this is a triple game. They started off the year great with Cyberpunk doing well, same day release, and then they got Hitman. And people were hoping and thinking 2021 that question of, is this game going to come to Stadia, will be a thing of the past, right? But here it goes again. Like, a big AAA game coming, right? And then that's that question, oh wait, where's Stadia here? That's another, if they do have this game coming, they've paid for it, they know it's coming. I guess, like, I would say then, it wouldn't have hurt to say it is coming, maybe delayed, but it is coming. So good point with that. Hopefully we're going to say something.
Yeah, no, I was going to agree with Duncan, because that demo dropping on PlayStation doesn't half incentivize people to actually click pre-order, and I'm one of them. I love clicking pre-order, and we were boasting on stage, look, we've got Immortals Phoenix Rising demo, we got it first. And now other places are going, but we got Resident Evil, and now it's making me think, I'm really fighting myself not to click pre-order, because I don't want installs and downloads, but if that's the only choice, that's the only way I have to go.
Right. And I think Happy agrees with you on this one, Duncan. So he said, yes, thank you.
Don't worry, that's rare. Anybody agreeing with me is a very rare sort of thing. I think some of my stuff I yap about, people don't agree at the time, and then some of it actually comes true. So I say the stuff at maybe in appropriate times.
True. All right. So we covered Resident Evil a lot, but I don't know where to place this game. I will call it AA. I guess I have to see where it's at on Metacritic. But Hitman 3 was released. This was a game that you could have pre-ordered. Probably, I think, when the second game, I think Destiny was the first that you can pre-order in Stadia. But this was a big deal. Again, bringing state share to Google Stadia. It released, and we covered it in the channel. JTP covered it too, and it ran okay on Stadia. I didn't have any issues, and it played well. Actually, I always said I hate stealth games, but this one was kind of fun. I actually played the next mission after the mission that I demoed, because it was fun. It wasn't too difficult, I guess. But this was a good game. Just want to hear from the panel. Did you guys actually try this in Stadia, and how was the experience? To get started, Mark, what's your take on Hitman 3 coming to Stadia?
I am in the exact same boat as you. I hate stealth games because I'm not good at them.
Yeah,
I'm very much, in terms of gameplay strategies, I will run in and make noise, which makes me very bad at these type of games. I'd put kind of Assassin's Creed in the same boat as it. Terrible. So regardless of platform, I hadn't planned on picking up Hitman 3. Maybe change my mind now. You're saying it's, you don't usually enjoy stealth games, but this was a little bit different. I may have a look, but my current stance on it is I am no good at stealth games.
Have you played the first and second one?
Yes, terrible at them.
Okay. Yeah, well, this might be the same then. Okay. Yeah. How about you, Duncan? What's your take on Hitman 3 and Stadia?
I'm waiting till it goes pro. I'm actually being semi-serious with that. Again, I'm not a big Hitman fan, but I've seen the reviews. Too pricey at this moment in time for that.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I told you so, but I'm going to say I told you so. Last week, Hitman is not the game to launch state share with, and I think the point has been proven. There was a lot of big push towards it the first day, and then it has vanished.
I'll be real with you, sir. I have not even seen state share on Hitman 3 yet, realistically speaking.
There was the first day I seen a load of people really pushing it, and then it has vanished. State share is the number one feature I have been looking forward for on Stadia. I'm on the record, we will say, multiple places, multiple times over the last year or longer. This is my number one feature, and it was half baked into Hitman. They were going for let's put a big feature into a game half baked instead of putting the feature fully baked into a game which would suit it down to the ground. Yes, the developers can choose the way State Share was doing it, but the wrong game at the wrong time. My hope is they have learned their lessons from this, and they are going all out to get a game to actually showcase this from top to bottom. And I will put a game out here, which I think they should do it. The new Binding of Isaac update is coming out in a couple of months. If I was Stadia, I would be dropping a ton of money there, going, get this into Stadia, put State Share in, even if it's just what the seed is, and then pay the YouTubers to do a series with using in Stadia. That would be an absolutely amazing way of doing it, because I know the YouTubers play nothing but Binding of Isaac, and if they put the link at the beginning of their video, play along with my same seed, bang, it sells itself.
Right.
So back to Hitman. It's getting amazing reviews. I think if you're into Hitman, you're going to absolutely love it. But for me, I'm leaving it until it goes pro.
So what... How did you see State Share play out with people who were showcasing it on Stadia? Because again, I still haven't even watched or seen.
I'm going to be bad here. It's just a glorified level skip in my view. It's you get bits and bobs of what people are using in the game, and you can jump in from that point. No, sorry, it's not even from that point, which would be brilliant
if it was
the
beginning
that
of
point.
the level or beginning of that checkpoint.
Yeah, beginning of the level, which is even worse.
There's been a ton of people posting, or there were people posting state shares on Sunny's Discord server, and it just wasn't working the way people hoped it would.
Yeah, it's another one of these, and I hate to say it, it's another half-baked Stadia thing. It's just wrong game, and I was really worried about it last week, and unfortunately it has came true. It's just so frustrated. There's so much potential in Hitman for State Share, but it's just because you've started at the beginning of the level. Imagine if you were put into a closet or something and you could just say, get yourself out from this.
Right.
and it's taken away because it's up to the developer, and the developer is not going to allow that because it's going to ruin levels and ruin the whole game and click the achievements and all this sort of thing. So it's wrong game. I'm just really frustrated with it.
So just for my understanding, because I haven't looked into this part of the story that much. So state share is supposed to be that you can set up these unique situations, unique scenarios. You've got this much health. This is about to happen. You're standing in this spot on this level. But the way it's been released for Hitman is, here's the start of this level, or here's the start of this checkpoint. You're nowhere close to where I left off.
Yes, but you've got some of the gear or some of the equipment, and you can use it the same that way. It's like it is state share. There, I can see the logic there. They didn't want to spoil things or anything like that, or make truly sort of things. But the way it just feels half baked, and it just feels like a level skip for me.
Yeah, so it's almost like if you went back to that 2019 Stadia showcase where they first announced it and they talked about state share, and I think they gave that how I just described it was how they described it on stage, basically.
Yeah, basically.
So
Wow. That's again, Duncan, I know you were like, go ahead. Let's
No, I'm now, because Duncan's explained, I always thought state share was capture the instance of the moment you are in and you share it with people, so you're going to have these unique levels. But now hearing it goes back to the start of level, I'm sitting there going, oh, it just sounds like a custom level skip. So I'm agreeing with Duncan. The more he's explaining, the more I'm like, who the hell wants that?
Yeah.
But because I've not played Hitman, because I was just laughing in my head, I'm like, Ace and Mark are crap at stealth, and I'm thinking to myself, well, how crap am I at stealth? Because I admit I'm crap. So now I agree with Mark. I'm like, go ahead, Ace, you try it first, then then Mark can try it next, and I'll buy it. Because in the end, I'm not buying a game at that full price that I feel I'm crap at that genre, and I really mean I'm same as Mark. I go guns blazing.
it sounds like I can buy it and just skip to the end, right?
just to get the achievement.
Yeah.
That's great. So
what I would again, the best games for the state share are roguelikes. If you want to get a nice, easy, if you want to go, this is a nice introduction to state share, it is a roguelike. Someone made the example, what game completely went out of my head, Risk of Rain 2. Risk of Rain 2 is on Stadia. You put in the custom seed there, go from here, or if they want to be really clever, go from this point and at this point. That is the perfect sort of game, because them games are different every single time and you won't be spoiling things.
Yeah.
So can I say to Ace, for example, Ace, state share me a level you believe showcases Hitman 3. And I'll buy the game. And then if I don't enjoy it within 2 hours because that's state share, I'll just refund it. And I'll just say, well, yeah, it's like sort of a demo now. You state shared that level, which is the best of the whole story. Yeah. And because I thought that was lackluster, I believe every other level's lackluster, and I'm not going to buy it.
Right. That's a great marketing tool.
That is absolutely brilliant. I didn't even think about that either. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm not as sneaky as you.
So again, this is where, we talked about exclusives. Like, imagine if Google Stadia had their studio up and they were able to create a game, right? Specifically, don't rely on a third-party dev to showcase your feature, Create a game from your first-party studio to showcase your feature. And again, I feel like that's kind of where the ball was dropped. They were trying to fit stage share into Hitman, not the other way around, But anyway, it's kind of a bummer because this, I think you called it, Duncan. You were saying last week that this can make or break this feature, right? If it releases and is not as hot as people thought, like state share might not be discussed anymore. And I'm hoping that's not the case. But from what the way things are looking right now, it's looking that way. Again, I haven't even watched or tried to. I have no interest. And I'm hearing you say like people showcased it and all of a sudden it's dropped. And so it's concerning. It's really concerning.
Well, let's hope this game doesn't come to like Metrovania style games, because imagine me starting a game in Metrovania style and someone goes, "Oh, here's all the great abilities and here's all the great items," and I just actually break the game straight away. But there's got to be some games that it'd be like a new level plus where someone goes, "Here's all the weapons,
Right.
you're overpowered now. Just run through the game."
Right. See, this is why State Share for me is my number one feature. Just think about what you've just said there. Just think if they get some sort of Mario Maker, and you just sit and share Mario levels. You sit and share game, absolutely amazing fun bits of games, which come and see if you can do this. Funny moments. I'm going to truly. State Share can revolutionize games going forward, because it's just going to be a click and your way you go. This is why I was so annoyed and frustrated about Hitman getting it, because I just don't see the appeal for it. There's just so many better games out there, and they could have just done something. And I'm going to tell you this: it's going to depress people and annoy people. They could have knocked up a brilliant game for State Share in a year. They've already worked on one of their tech demos is a card game. They could have actually expanded that out some more. It was part of Project Chimera, and the other one, the Semantic ML. It was part of them sort of ones, and they had a card game ready to. Looked like a fully functional card game, and they could have just said, "This is our way example of State Share." Play it from this point, play it from that point. There's just so much there, and it's just frustrating to see that this technology is going to waste. And I'm going to tell you this now: other places are going to take advantage of this, and they're going to showcase it better and quicker than Stadia, because we already know that PlayStation have got the exact same technology patented, and it looks like they're going to put it into PlayStation now.
Yeah. It's go ahead.
I get what they were trying to do. 100% didn't land, because exactly as Duncan's just said, the type of game where you want to showcase this feature is like the level creation games, and we have a few of those already. Like Rock of Ages free. There are a few level creation type games already on Stadia, but I get that if they were to take their brand new feature and release it on a game which has already come out, months and months ago, which doesn't have that kind of traction anymore, then people aren't going to see or use their shiny new feature. So, okay, let's tag it onto a big new game, even if it doesn't fit. So, it's kind of like a square peg, round hole type situation.
Right. I mean, Creator would have been great for this,
Guess what? It's half baked into Creator.
Is it?
Yeah. You can share your levels on Creator, but it's really weird and obtuse way of doing it. It's not like a Hitman where you can just do a screenshot. You actually have to copy you have to be basically in your browser doing it, and you have to copy it and then paste it in. So it is in Creator, sort of half baked. And I'm not blaming the devs in that part, because they were sort of pushing that out early.
Yeah.
The way people explain it, it doesn't sound enticing, because for years we've had level designs where you can actually tell which way the AI goes, which weapons, where the player starts, handicap health and stuff like that. So when people say it is like that, it's like, oh, that's very lackluster now when you think about it.
That's only one way you can use it. Another way is, say you're playing name one of your games you like to play. Which
NBA 2K21. Let's go.
If you're playing NBA 2K21, you are 20 points down with 1 quarter. Is it 1 quarter in basketball? Isn't it quarters in basketball? Yeah. You're 20 points down in basketball. You State Share that level. Can you come back from this? I'm playing on hard. Can you do that?
Boom. Let's go.
You're in Football Manager. I can go one way. I can talk about easier. You go in Football Manager. You're taking over a team 20 points down at Christmas. State Share that, bang, away you go. There's just so much potential. And you can play along with your YouTubers. Say you want to put out your 20 points down. You put that, this is how I did it. You put your link in your chat. You then get your people who are following you on YouTube. Can you do better? And then they stream it and they put the YouTube clips. Can you see where this all goes on? Yeah. Can you see why I'm excited?
You see people on YouTube going, go ahead, go and put some money in the pot, donate some money to the channel, and then I'll link you the State Share and see if you can do the throw. And if you don't get the throw, you don't win the pot. Next.
Right.
Believe it or not, that's one of my worries about crowd play. Is it's going to be them in the dime where it's going to be, if you chuck me another £5, you're going to be next in the queue. I can see that becoming the problem down the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the state share stuff, I'm just really, really excited about that. Again, there's limited possibilities. And when that Q Games comes, which Director is talking about in the chat, that's the game which was actually the demo for state share at the GDC conference. That game is a game which is built ground up for state share, for sharing these clips. Can you get past this really hard bit? Can you do this? Can you do that? Again, it is going to change games if they bring it in right.
So I think something to agree on is the feature is dope, is great, right? It's just the implementation is not the best, especially like with the game of choice with Hitman 3. So hopefully, fingers crossed that this does not go to the grave, and hopefully they, showcase it better. And again, Stadia has some great features with crowd choice, state share, Stream Connect. It's just a matter of like getting the first party studio up and implementing this game to showcase it off to its best abilities, right? They're great features. It's just they're not implementing it correctly. So hopefully we'll see that moving forward for sure. But yeah, Hitman, I have to say, is not the greatest way to showcase this at all. We still have a lot of Stadia news to cover, y'all. So let's feel free to jump in though, if you guys feel like we haven't pushed this one. But if not, we're gonna move on to another game that was released, which was Piku Niku. Have not played this game, but it's a storybook world.
It's been pushed back. It's been pushed back to February.
February 12th. That's right. It was not released. I'm just reading it. Thank you for that. But let's talk about this game quickly. Hopefully we don't take long here. But what's your thoughts on this? Do you guys feel that this is a good get for Google Stadia? Any of you guys interested in playing this one, especially like people, you guys who are parents and have kids, do you feel like this is going to be a good game to have your kids play? To me personally, I feel like that's the only reason why I'll get this game. But let me know what your thoughts are. We'll get started with you, Holtz. What's your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I thought to myself, it looks like a bizarre game, but in a fun way. I thought it looks like a child learning pop-up book. So right. when I saw that, I thought to myself, well, I can't wait for that to go on Pro, and I'll show it to the younger family members. But it wasn't something that I was thinking, oh, I'll have to go out and play it myself.
Right.
So I agree with you, just adding it to the family library for the younger members.
Okay. How about you, Duncan? What's your take on this?
Okay, like we said earlier on, part of Stadia's problem, I'm waiting for this to go Pro. Yes.
That should be like a tagline for this podcast. Wait for it to go Pro.
Exactly. I'm going to. I think there's a good family game. It's a game you would probably dip into. It's overpriced because you can pick it up for a couple of pounds out there for PC, but we're not comparing that to that. So there's just lots of reasons why I would not pay full price for it. My issue for this is exactly what happened to you at the beginning there, yes. There was another miscommunication from Stadia. They announced this early on Tuesday. This is coming this week. And then a couple of hours later, Devolver Digital goes, that ain't happening. It's just another miscommunication from Stadia, but confusing people. And it just comes off a bit amateurish again, where they're saying one thing, then a couple of hours later, the actual developers go, no, that's not right. It's one of them annoying things. Or was it last Thursday, wasn't it? Or I don't think it was this week. It was last Thursday, said they weren't coming out because of Hitman 3. Holtz?
I know I was going to ask Duncan, is it because like the way Stadia offers all these pro games so fast that you always say pro, or was you always like this with PlayStation Plus and Xbox?
No. If you go to my Xbox library, you go to my PlayStation library. This isn't me boasting. I'm sorry if it comes off like this. I've got hundreds of games in both systems.
So it's sort of Stadia mark, and that's making us think, well, it'll go pro next month. So it's roughly Stadia's fault.
It's Stadia's fault, yes. It is. Stadia have conditioned us now to just say it will go pro. It will go pro. Half the library, or in and around half the library, has been pro at some stage. Yeah. So they are conditioning us to go, if it's an indie title or a AA, B title, whatever way you want to say. As long as it's not a AAA game, anything under a AAA game is pro. It's going to go pro at some stage, or if it's
you can't even say that because F1 was supposed to be a AAA game.
Exactly.
And they made that pro within a matter of months. It was quick.
What's interesting when they were interviewing, again, there's too many interviews to remember which one it was, but they were interviewing someone from the Stadia team, and they were talking about, you can tell that they were proud of how many free games pro members got. So in a way, it's like they're happy that these games are going pros. They're happy that these games have pro deals. I think they're trying to get people to realize that there's value in the pro membership, but at the same time, it's like it's biting you in the butt because like people are not going to buy games if they know that's going to come to pro. So it's I don't know. It's going to be a tough one to.
And plus, I guess it's even if Google's boasting about it, it's going to be for the gamers that believe they've got quantity. Where I've got a lot with me, someone might say, "Well, I've saved $1,000 by not buying these games." But if you asked me, I'd be like, "Well, I wouldn't have bought that many of them games."
Anyway,
yeah. So I wouldn't. So I didn't save $1,000. So
I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound really controversial. There's a shock. I think the games you can play on Geforce Now via Epic is probably better than what's in your Stadia Pro library.
You mean for this month or just overall?
No, just over. If you go over the last year, I think
the free games that Epic is offering.
Yeah,
and Pikunika, the game we were just talking about, I got it for free on Epic.
Yeah. See, value is in the eye of the beholder. As Holtz has said there, I see these comparisons go out there. Stadia Pro members are getting $200 worth of games. Xbox are getting $80, PlayStation $100. And the problem is, I'm more likely to probably play the games on Xbox and PlayStation than the games I'm getting on Pro. My Pro library is massive, like everybody's is probably here. But the amount of games I actually play, which are Pro games, is minuscule. I maybe stick it on for a couple of minutes and go, that is interesting, and then they'll go back to it. This is Stadia's problem. They're going for quantity over quality, and that is my worry. What we're going to be, the messaging we're getting out here. Stadia has 400 games coming. If the 400 games are like the pro games coming,
it's problematic.
And or would you want to pay out the $400-500 to get a PlayStation 5 where you get your FIFAs, your Maddens, and then all the exclusive games on top of that? This is what it's about, the games, and the games are what matter.
So I thinking about this now, again, we're gonna talk to Mark and Ben, but we're gonna try to move on. But thinking about this now, most games, and correct me if I'm wrong, but most games from the Stadia first party, even second, let's call it second party studio that has been released, have all been free for pro members, right? So going forward, actually, the way I view this, and this can be a really good thing for pro games, is if they take a Microsoft route approach to where the first party studio games, when they start being AAA level type games, if they come free for pro members, I think that's a great advantage for pro members, right? You get the AAA games from Google Stadia's first party studios and second parties. Pro, I agree, the games that they've, except from Orcs Must Die, but most of the games like Get Packed, and people will hate me for saying Outcasters too, but most of the games that they've showcased on Pro just has not been the greatest. But if those games again can be AAA type titles in the coming months or years, I think you can make up for what they're trying to do. But that's just my take, right?
I don't mind the mix of titles. I honestly don't. But it just needs to be some more higher quality ones. F1 was for me was probably would it be the best game which has been on Pro?
I would say Guilt and Grid was a good one too, right?
AAA games. I'm talking about.
Would you consider F1 a AAA?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Ace, have you got PlayStation?
Outside of the United States, it's definitely a AAA game.
Okay.
Okay. Ace, have you got PlayStation now? Are you subscribed?
I do. Yeah.
I'm going to give you a wake-up call on how big Formula One is. Go look at the multiplayer lobbies, and your face will just go, "Oh my god!"
Really?
There is like, if I was to go, sorry, maybe it's a bit late now over here. If I was to go on a couple of hours ago, there would be 100, if not hundreds, of lobbies.
Wow.
And if you click into one of them, it's filled up like that.
Is Stadia like that as well?
Stadia's got 2, if you're lucky.
Sorry.
Yes, you didn't want to go there, but yes, this is just showing the gulf here on what Stadia really needs to do here. F1 is a massive game, and they have really undersold it. They could be out there really showcasing it. F1 is absolutely massive, and it's got its own esports, and the actual F1 drivers take part in it as well. They could have done a major marketing sort of push there, saying this is on Stadia now. Come play this for free as part of your trial. And it's frustrating.
But I said this last week. Even though it is a cloud service subscription in PlayStation Now, I don't feel that many people playing on it are actually playing streaming via the cloud. Yeah. They've downloaded it, so they see it as a free game, like they see it as a PlayStation Plus title.
That's true.
I don't even with that. I think most of them people are going to be.
So if you talk from a cloud point of view and said how many people are actually using PlayStation Now as a cloud based?
Oh yeah, what I was meaning for trying on the PlayStation Now is just to show how big how many the multiplayer.
If you had an option to toggle off and on cloud based or non cloud based, I bet anybody PlayStation Now would have a few lobbies as well.
That's true. That's a good point. Let's check in with Mark though. We have so much more to cover. We've been in the stadium for quite some time, but let's check in with Mark real quick. What's your take on this?
Luckily, we can move on pretty quick because I have no strong opinions on Piku Niku.
Okay.
100% it will go to Pro, and it will look very nice collecting dust in my Pro library.
My goodness. All right. How about you, Ben? Quickly take on Piku Niku.
I mean, like I said, I got it for free on Epic last year sometime. I don't even remember when. I just checked my library to make sure it was in there.
There you go.
I never even played it. I just installed it just since it's coming to Stadia. I figured I'd check it out. But yeah, no, it's been in my library for months and I haven't touched it.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. So again, all right. Let's move to the double dose free games coming this weekend that you can play in Stadia again. I think I know where this conversation is gonna go. Right. This should be made for everyone, not just Pro, but 2 decent games, right? Being WWE 2K Battlegrounds and also Ghost Recon Breakpoint. What's your take on this? Any of you guys that didn't have this game actually tried this game out because of free to play in Stadia?
I'm gonna jump on Breakpoint after this.
Have you you haven't tried Breakpoint before?
I have not tried it before.
Okay.
I'm kind of tempted by because, like they usually do with the free play weekends, the games included on that are usually on some kind of deal as well.
Yeah.
So the base price for because they've got like the special edition, it's like £7.79 here or something. So that's kind of intriguing. So I'll definitely have a look.
I would say it's definitely worth $8, even if you never get on for a PvP match. Just the open world map is. I mean, there's so much to do that you'll be fine.
Yeah,
now,
$8 is a good deal.
It's a good deal. Yeah.
No, I'm going for the opposite game. I got 5 of my friends onto Stadia over the holidays, and tomorrow we're going to actually arrange an online WWE Battlegrounds because we were huge wrestling fans. The SmackDown game and stuff like that. So this game now is just actually going to have us a bit of fun tomorrow. Yeah. So hopefully we can all turn up and have a bit of crazy battle royal.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
For me, it's WWE as well. I've got the Ghost Recon. Haven't played it that much.
Yeah.
For me, it being knocked behind Pro is not a big deal. It's a Pro perk. It's a Pro perk. Yes, we want Stadia to be used a lot more, but yes, I would like to see. We've got the free to play games behind free now for these Breakpoint and WWE being behind the paywall, it's not a biggie. Xbox are doing it this weekend. PlayStation will do it again in the future, where you have to be PlayStation Plus or Xbox Gold. Don't talk about Xbox Gold. And users just to get access to that. For me, that is not a big deal anymore because of the free-to-play games on the platform.
Yeah, no, good. One of the reasons when we were discussing how it should be free for everyone, the free to play really wasn't there. Destiny wasn't there, and neither was Man. I think it's the other one, but now it's there, so people can actually test it out now if they really want to. So, agreed with that 100%. So let's talk about Ben. Did you want to give you 2 cents here? But sorry. To say something, my bad, Ben. Just couch co-op for WWE 2K. If you guys didn't know that, I know a lot of people were looking for decent couch co-op Google Stadia games, and so you guys know that has it in there.
It's a shame we've got a good couch co-op, but we can't invite no one round. Well, here in the UK, we can't.
That's true. That's true. But if you have like brothers and sisters or whatever, you can get on. Go ahead, Ben. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm good. I already said what I needed to.
Cool. All right, so we're going to move into sales for Google Stadia. A couple of games went on sale, especially one that I want to hear Holt's reaction to. But Enter the Dungeon, on sale. Red Dead Redemption 2 again on sale. Reigns on sale. Valkyrie Chronicles 4 went on sale. And West of Lothian. What are your thoughts on these sales on Google Stadia? Actually, let's start with Holtz on this one.
When I saw Valkyrie Chronicles 4 get dropped to that price, I was like, finally, that is the price it should have launched with. Because it's an older title, and I don't like the way these older titles, I understand the developers put extra time to port it over, but to bring it out as full price when you can buy it on other platforms is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So now bringing them to that price, and if you like Valkyrie Chronicles 1, you're definitely going to like this one from a different perspective. And for £27, I would sit there and say to people, come out and play it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I would highly recommend it at that price, and that's the price it should have been. That's the price I wanted it to be, and
it's a good price, and it's pretty cool to see some people giving this game a chance. I think Ray the Cyborg was playing this, and he was trying to figure the game out. But this is a good game, guys, and I know it's not marketed well, but it's a good game. I would highly recommend it. So it's good to see people picking up at the sale price. For sure, but anyone else just hop in on this one.
I thought the sale on Reigns was ridiculous. I mean, why? It's a $3 game. It discounted at 60 cents. I'm like, really? You're gonna put that in the sales? Really?
That was a tipping point for me. It was an extra 40 cents. Now,
I mean, sometimes sales are ridiculous because it was that basketball game here. It got reduced. Last year's game got reduced by 98%, and it still didn't sell.
Yeah.
I picked it up for what was that?
It did sell.
I picked it up.
Picked it up.
Yeah, but it didn't boom, did it? For everyone to say, "Wow, £2! That's amazing, $2."
I said it for 2 minutes ago. This is the biggest load of nonsense. This isn't a real sport. I'm just going fishing. I'm going fishing. That's what I'm doing. I go fishing. It's not. No, I didn't like it. But I'd probably pick it up again if it goes for £2 again to give it a try again because I'm just stuffed. But the games for me, Enter the Gungeon, it will be a pro game. It's just a matter of when. Red Dead I've already picked up. Reigns, ridiculous. Valkyrie Chronicles for another tenner off that, and I will bite. And West of Lothian was a pro game. So
I got to agree with Holtz, where we've already basically said that we've got a platform where they have conditioned us to not purchase games, to wait because, historically things will go to pro.
Yeah. And
then they're not encouraging those sales with their prices. Like we've already said, yes, as Holt said, basically the developers need to do additional work. So they have an input on the prices, but these prices aren't encouraging people to pick up titles on the platform. Unless people pick up titles, especially with the multiplayer games, the less lobbies you have, it's all connected.
Yeah.
Just to go, I was going off to go, Holtz. I'm talking too much, so everybody needs to tell me to shut up.
The whole point is, I'll say, we've seen so many sales come on at the same price each month again. So I want Valkyria Chronicles next time it goes on sale to drop that £10.
Lower,
So
exactly.
Duncan can go, wow, that was an amazing game. I don't want it at the same price where the developers go, it's not getting any lower. Tough.
Yeah. I wonder why they're doing that. I wonder if like they're seeing stats, more people are picking up Stadia, but it makes no sense to launch the same sale multiple times. I mean, how many times have Red Dead Redemption been on sale for that price? It's just like, well, if they're not gonna pick it up the first time, they're probably not gonna. I don't know. It's just it's quite interesting, really, if you ask me.
And then we see on other platforms like GTA 5 can go really cheap and it still stays in the charts for years. So that's why you have to keep on bringing the price down just to get people to finally bite.
Right.
See, my thing about it is, I was really tempted for that Ubisoft sale just before the Christmas, before Ubisoft Plus came on. It might have been the end of October, early November. There was a big Ubisoft sale. If they said before that sale, yes, Ubisoft Plus is coming, it is going to be North America only, I would have bid on a number of the Ubisoft games.
Well, there's a bunch of them on sale again right now, too.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think we're now in the stage where it's coming at some stage. I was really tempted to actually get it there. And if I was told communication again that the beta was just going to be the US for this year, it's going to be next year at some stage for the UK, I would have went bang, 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 bang. And I would have bought a ton of the games because I was waiting for Ubisoft Plus. And they've lost money there again.
I feel sorry for you people in UK with Ubisoft Plus and Luna's beta, man. I know Chief was definitely that those were his two things, and he just got screwed.
I remember a few weeks ago I was joking around. I went, am I the only one buying these Ubisoft games? So it looks like I was the only one buying these sales because I didn't want Ubisoft Plus. And now people are regretting it. And I'm like, oh, got no one to play with now because I'm the only one who bought the sales.
That's true.
You were absolutely right in doing that, and with Stadia, we should have went with our gut and just bought it.
And like I said, it wasn't just me playing them. I added to a family library. That's 6 or 5 other people can have access to it. So I felt like it was well worth the investment.
Worth it. Good point. All right, so let's move on to Shadow PC. Looking at the time, we're cutting it close here, but again, Mark, you did a Cloud Gaming News video today, which covered a lot of these. If you guys haven't checked it out, please do. It's pretty good. And that's where I got most of this information from. So, Mark, I'm going to need you to kind of break it down a little bit. But earlier this year, and, there's news, and we covered in the last podcast of Shadow kind of giving us a roadmap on what to expect for Shadow in early 2021, which I said most companies need to do. It's pretty cool, right? Just let people know what's happening beginning of the year, right? So a couple of things that they announced that is happening right now is Chromebook support, right? That's big. I've tested it out and it actually works quite well.
My cheap, what was it, $300 Chromebook, the Duet, it works now.
Yeah.
It's never worked before. I've been trying for months.
Exactly.
It finally works.
It's pretty cool. I wonder how they did this. Is it just like a switch, or they flipped up to, I don't know. But
it wasn't even an app update. It was
it was
to Shadow itself.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But like Ben is saying though, Chromebook now works. Shadow now works on Chromebook. So if you have a Chromebook, give it a go, man. I was really impressed by how well it was running on my Chromebook. But the next one is ARM-based processor support, and dual screen support is now available for Shadow. So Mark, I'm just going to ask you again. I got a lot of this information from your video. Just break this down a little bit on the roadmap and what they've released so far.
Yeah, I can give you my spiel. So the Chromebook support. Very big one. That one is so the way they've done that, it's for all Chromebooks which are running Android. You can now get the Shadow app. It still is in beta state, so it's
Right.
great, as you said, Ace Ben, that both of you have tried it and it just works, and it is
Mhm.
still in a beta state as well. With that one, not every Chromebook has been tested by Shadow because there's so many flavors of them.
Right.
But basically, what they've said is if it runs Android apps and it has the Play Store, that's basically the version that's going to work.
Right.
So yeah, it's such a good get for Chromebook, because I hear it a lot, like, where's the app? Why is it missing? Because
Yeah.
Shadow's kind of like the platform which is on all of your devices. Like for iOS, it's not just through the web like the others. They actually have the app on the App Store. So to be missing from one was kind of like just short of a full deck.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to see it there now. The ARM-based processor, like you said, for now that's basically just a Mac application. For anyone who wanted to try that out, it's essentially for the brand new MacBooks running the M1 ARM processor. Here we go, Duncan doing a little dance. That one is only available. It's not on the store.
Nice.
So there is a direct download link for that in the description of the video I put out today, if people wanted to grab that. That is just a fantastic first step for what they talked about that's coming further in 2021, which is just ARM-based processor support, because that will give us Shadow on a Raspberry Pi, which everyone is,
my goodness,
for so long has been asking about. The Ghost. Logistically, it was impossible to get. Everything was manufactured in China. COVID screwed everything up, and whether or not they'd want me to say it, basically the stance that they've kind of taken with it is Shadow is a software company. They're not a hardware company. So they were never meant to be mass producing hardware and shipping it out all over the world. It's why the Ghost has been so difficult to get hold of, basically. So this is just a fantastic direction to go in. Like, instead of us trying to manufacture things and sell it to you for, £100, why don't you go out and buy a £33 board from Raspberry Pi? You can buy a case for it for like £5, and then that is it. That's all you would need for dedicated hardware. And that's for all of those people who don't have, existing hardware to install it on old laptops, old PCs, things. Some people don't have any of that, but they want to get into these things, and they want to try it on things other than their phone. Like we've all kind of complained, like, we'll try some of these services on our phone, but the small screen is like a deal breaker. So a Pi plugged into your TV, that's all you would need, which is pretty cool. So I'm very excited for that one. Also, because they're going to be running a competition for the most creative Raspberry Pi builds. And since I got access to my 3D printer, I'm already planning something crazy.
That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah, and then dual screen support, that, so many people have been asking for that for a long time. It's something I tried years ago when I went out to France to see them at an event. Like, it worked perfectly. I think I used actually freeze screens on a racing simulator game. So in terms of their like test and development stuff, it's worked well for a long time. But rolling it out is a completely different matter. It needs to work perfectly every time. So that's in an alpha state. Again, link to that alpha app is only available direct via a link which you can get from their Discord, or again, I have helpfully placed it in the description of today's video if people wanted to check that version out.
Yeah. Awesome. Again, thank you for the breakdown, clarifying all of that. So again, check out Mark's video. Links are under your wall if you guys were interested. And I have to say kudos again to the Shadow team. They're the first people to present us with a roadmap. It's pretty interesting because late last year with that interview, Google kind of gave us a roadmap, and so did Geforce Now. But realistically, it wasn't really a roadmap. They just said 400 games to come in the next, be expecting the next 2 years. I mean, that's not, but Shadow took their time and said, hey, we're working on this. This is coming. Get ready. And already, 3 of those items are available. So kudos to them for that, for sure.
Yeah, this one is onboarding their new CTO was the 100% the best move they'd made in a while in terms of
brilliant.
like JB. Legit, he understands the tech on another level because he's the guy behind VLC Media Player. So streaming video, which is essentially all Shadow is, like down to the bare bones of the tech, he understands it all. So having him at the front, he's done such a good job in terms of prioritizing this roadmap for a realistic delivery. It's hopefully we're going to see less of these broken promises. I'll say, because he understands what it's going to take to get them out and how realistic they are. And he was the one presenting this roadmap, so he's got to believe in it.
Good. Again, it's the way 2020 went for Shadows. Good to see, new management, new hope. And I hope it goes well for them. I was, honestly speaking, kind of concerned. But I think they are heading in the right direction. So let's see how this all plays out for sure. But again, thanks for the update. Mark, anyone want to add to that? Feel free. If not, we're going to move over to Xcloud quickly.
Now, I'm only interested in the Chromebooks, if we go back to the Chromebooks, at the lowest entry price, because if there's too many, I'm not really interested in seeing the middle tiers or the upper tiers. To me, a Chromebook is just the most accessible entry point for the majority of people. That's the way I see Chromebooks.
What's a decent price point for you then?
I don't know. You see them around here about £140, maybe. Maybe a bit cheaper, so maybe like $170. So just for like a 1080 screen, just a 4 gig, stuff like that. Battery life 12 hours.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sorry to cut you off. Keep going if you have more.
No, that's it.
Cool. All right. Anyone else for Shadow before we hop over to Xcloud? All right. So not much with Xcloud, just some game releases. So again, got this from your video, Mark. So thanks for that. Again, check it out. Good stuff. Good cloud gaming overall news video. But there are certain games that are going to be releasing on Xcloud, some of which are already here. But Control, again, this game cracks me up because it's pretty much everywhere except from one platform, one cloud gaming platform, which I think is really interesting. That is Google Stadia, of course. But Control is now available on Xcloud, so you can check that out, right? We have Donut County and Desperados 3. Haven't played any of those games. And then there's a game called The Outer Wilds, which is going to be coming, or is probably here. I don't know for sure. But what interests me the most with the games that are coming are the Yakuza Series 3, 4, and 5 coming next week. And exclusive game to Game Pass. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that it makes its way to Xcloud, which is, the cloud gaming version of Game Cloud. It's Medium. And this is a game that I'm going to be covering on this channel, showcasing it. And it's been a while since Microsoft got good exclusive to Game Pass. It was supposed to be Halo Infinite, but we all know that got delayed. So this is one of those games that they showcased in the event. Crossfire was another game that was supposed to release last fall that got delayed, right? But again, this is a good one, and hopefully it turns out well. But what's your take, members of this of the panel, on these games? It's open to anyone to.
Well, I can't say about the games you mentioned because I'm not really interested in them. But I don't know if we mentioned it last week. But there's 2 games that I was really interested in last week or this week that came out, and that was Pro Evolution Soccer and Injustice 2.
Yeah.
I did play them games, and they actually did run smooth for me. I know a lot of people say Xcloud doesn't work for them, but I was actually playing Injustice without any problem. Once I kicked and punched, and I enjoyed the football as well.
Good.
On my tablet.
Nice. Duncan, you?
Pro Evo is my game, better than FIFA in my view.
Yeah.
And Master League all the way. I can never pull up, and I can talk about that. But we will skip over that bit. I think Xcloud is in a holding position for the next couple of months. I think they're still going to drop the games in just to keep it ticking over. And I think when the new, I hate saying that, the new blades go in with the Series X, I think all bets are off. I think there is going to be big or wrap up there, and I think that's where they're just going to blitz it. The PC support will come out. You can buy your games on the Xboxes or Xcloud as well. That is coming later this year, but they're just going to give their whole roadmap. I think we're coming up to a big tipping point for all the cloud services in March, end of March, April time. I think there's just something about that time just rings bells with me, with new word coming out for Luna and stuff like that. So I think we're going to be, that is the time scale to start watching, and I think there's going to be fireworks around there. But with the games coming, I think they're just in a holding position, and they're just dropping things just to keep interest peaked anyway.
Yeah. I would have to say, people keep asking me which platform do I think this year is gonna like really shine, and I keep telling people I think it's Xcloud. You know, once they get this year, don't forget Halo's still coming this year. But again, they have so much going for them. I'm really excited. Really excited for what they have to offer.
There's a trilogy that I'm excited. I know a lot of fans didn't really. It was well received, but the announced Final Fantasy 13 trilogy is going to be X optimized. So if they can release that game and bring out the X blades for Xcloud, I'd be so hoping they bring that to Xcloud playing them games.
Ooh, that would be nice. That would be nice. But Mark, what's your take on these games coming to Xcloud or Game Pass game streaming?
Yeah, I was just trying to think. I think the last day and date exclusive Microsoft title we got for Game Pass was probably Grounded sometime last year. Like you said, there was Crossfire. We were supposed to get that delayed. So the Medium is probably the first one we've had in a while.
Yeah, there's a game called Tell Me Why.
Yes.
I think that released in the fall sometime.
Is it a game or is it like an interactive movie?
It's like those Telltale type games, Walking Dead type Telltale games. But yeah.
So I 100% agree. It does look like they're kind of just ticking over with, things from their studios, just adding over. But yeah, it is absolutely going to pick up 100% once we see the move over to the new server blades. But I'm excited for the Medium. I'm going to check that out on stream. Horror games I dip in and out occasionally, but I don't usually stream them. So just for people to see my reaction.
There you go. Yeah, that game comes out next week again. Really,
actually, so I haven't checked PC specs for that. Obviously, there's a reason it's not coming to Xcloud. This is what they're touting, the first next gen horror game, because of the SSD requirements to jump back and forth between the two kind of in-game worlds. There's like a light and a dark that you jump between.
So it's not coming to Xcloud.
No.
Is that what? Oh, well, there you go.
The Medium isn't. That's just coming to Game Pass for PC. Same as Control actually isn't on Xcloud. I don't think. That's just Game Pass for PC. Game Pass for PC.
Okay, good to know. Thanks for the clarification. Again, the issue, with Game Pass. Sorry if y'all are hearing that noise. My neighbor and fixing his car again. So
every
week is just specifically around this time. But
he must have the best car in the world now because all the things he does.
The same car, guys. No joke. The same car. He's been working on for like 3 months now. Anyway, yeah, Ben, what's your take on these games coming?
I don't really have a take on the games coming, but I agree with Mark. As soon as they upgrade the server blades, I'll probably come flocking back to Xbox. Like, I've never owned an Xbox, but I did try out Game Pass, and I had a hope for it, but I wasn't ready for it yet. So as soon as they upgrade it, I'll probably come back.
Okay. Yeah. Man, so much potential. I'm not gonna get into all of that.
Okay, Ben, I'm gonna ask you a question. If PlayStation now upgraded their blades and Microsoft upgraded their blades, and you only could pick one service, which one would you go for?
Well,
I want to answer that after him. Actually, that's a good question.
Purely based off from ads and marketing, I lean more to Xbox. I don't know much about PlayStation Now, whereas I see Game Pass everywhere.
Can I answer too?
Go ahead, Ace. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. So based on where PlayStation Now is right now, I would say Xcloud. Because again, the only true exclusive there is Horizon Zero Dawn from the first party. Now, if they change things around and bring, the other first party IPs to PlayStation Now, I might change my mind. But right now, I feel like Xcloud has the better first party exclusives on there. So I would say Xcloud too.
I want to answer. So, it's definitely, it would be worth an investment to go for Microsoft, because I feel like they're just picking up steam in terms of picking up these studios to become first party, and that will expand their library. So costs to the amount of games you'll get, that will probably pay off. But if we're talking, first party title exclusives, which are available right now, if it was all included in a very similar subscription for PlayStation Now, and we get things like Horizon Zero Dawn and the whatever the next one is called, and Spider-Man Miles Morales as part of a subscription like that, then right now I'd be tempted to go for PlayStation, I think.
Right.
Okay. I will answer. I'll answer two ways.
Yeah, Duncan's going to say wherever his idle simulator goes.
Yes. I will answer this two ways. First of all, I think it's actually something I was going to bring up at the end where we're going to wrap up and whatnot. As the weeks and months go on, it is just becoming clearer and clearer. There is not going to be one platform people play. It is going to be multiple platforms. You're not going to be stuck into one of these silos. You're not going to be a Stadia fan. You're not going to be a Geforce Now. You're going to be subscribing to all these different services at different times, at the same times, and you'll just drip in and out. But if you put a gun to my head and go, oh, you have to choose one of these services now, Xcloud's been upgraded to Series X. PlayStation Now has been up to PlayStation 5. It's PlayStation. Absolutely, without a question. I think we've talked about Stadia and their marketing. You do not believe the amount of games which are on PlayStation Now. There's more games on PlayStation Now by 2 or 3 times what's on Game Pass. There is hundreds of games on PlayStation Now, and they have got their old games there as well. But the PlayStation games at this moment in time, the exclusives even which are on there, are, in my view, are probably a tier above what is on Game Pass. But if you're going longer term, it would be Xbox, because there seems to be there. But at this moment in time, where you can just go, if I was going to be really safe, it would be PlayStation.
Interesting. So where things are right now, you would choose PlayStation over Game Pass?
Yes, if they were upgraded to PlayStation 5, I think that was the thing. That was the thing. If they were upgraded to PlayStation 5, it would be PlayStation all day long.
Okay. Oh, okay. So I'm talking about right now, which they haven't updated. You'll still go at.
Yes,
but it sounds like if you wanted a future proof, you would do Xcloud.
If it was going future-proof, it would be Xcloud, because of the way all the mergers and acquisitions are going on, because they have not stopped. Because it's, I'm not sure if you've heard the rumors going about Tencent, Take-Two. It's getting scary out there. And that is not me saying Tencent taking over these companies is scary. I think the Tencent things are overblown completely. But it is more we're turning into a case where it's going to be super gaming companies are going to have so much power, and all the middle people. I've got a horrible feeling Ubisoft is going to get gobbled up by somebody.
I hope not.
I have that feeling that they're trying to future-proof themselves by going everywhere, but I think that's actually going to backfire, and someone is going to come in and do a hostile sort of takeover. It's just the way this is going. And with Tencent actually taking over Take-Two, if that is coming to pass, it is just absolutely mind-blowing.
If that happens, then I feel like the future is going to be that. It's going to be big companies trying to buy out. If they can purchase GTA devs, then, I mean, what's to say that Ubisoft and EA?
Exactly.
Activision's a beast, though. It's going to take a lot if anyone to
Now,
acquire Activision.
the question is, who would buy Ubisoft? I feel like their relationship with Google right now is on fire.
Exactly.
No,
I would say.
I'm going to say this about Ubisoft. Ubisoft is playing with everybody. I don't say that their relationship is really, really strong with Stadia. It's really be the same with Amazon. It would be the same with Geforce Now. My worry here, and this is going to shape how things are going to come. If you see Amazon buying a big company, you know they're on board. They are going to hell for leather. If Google does it as well, they're going for hell for leather. If neither Amazon or Google go out and buy someone in the next number of months or this next year, so where all these big acquisitions and mergers are coming on, it is going to become extremely difficult for them going forward, as the band of these big massive dinosaurs are just going to rule the roost. So
I agree. If Ubisoft gets purchased, it's going to be a huge blow for Stadia. I'm going to be 100, because like Bethesda getting purchased, we know that the next Doom Eternals, that's a huge loss. People don't like realize what, I mean, most of Bethesda's game was on Stadia. Now the future games might not be, and then you take Ubisoft out. It's like, holy crap, it's a huge deal. And I do think that's where the future of the industry is going. But
and the thing is, Stadia wouldn't be around if it weren't for their partnership with Ubisoft, because their test game was Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
That's true. And
so I think Ubisoft now is going to come up with a new word. Instead of being ambiguous, they're going to be Ubibiguous cloud. So we interpret the meaning where they're going.
Yeah, realistically though, I feel like they're at a really good place to where so cloud is becoming a thing, right? And I think they, again, are playing with everyone, right? So I think Ubisoft Connect is a gold mine. And if they can get Connect on each platform, we know that we've heard rumors of Game Pass getting Ubisoft. So they're going to be on Luna, they're on Stadia, they are on GeForce Now, and they're going to be in game. They should be set to where, people are going to purchase that, especially like if they want the latest and greatest. And I think they have a good model. They don't need to sell out. I'm hoping that they don't sell out.
I wonder what happens if Ubisoft Connect makes loads of subscriptions, get the money, and then they bring out Uplay Cloud, and then they get other publishers to come to them instead of the other way around in the future.
It can happen. That's how, the Epic Store started. Fortnite was that, that Trojan horse that kind of gave them the finances to start the Epic Game Store. If this blows up for them, hey, they can.
I do believe that Ubisoft Connect is their way to try and shelter themselves from being bought, because they're trying to be everywhere, and everything's all cross-platform, cross-save. So if someone comes in, it's going to make things a little difficult for it. But I can still see that is going to be the company which I can see a lot of people going after. The only thing that may put them off is, as you may recall, they were part of a takeover or attempted takeover a couple of years ago. So that may put stuff in. But if this Take-Two one comes off, if the rumors are true, that is multi-times bigger than the Bethesda deal, and it is going to have earthquakes, and there is going to be fallouts. There will be scrambling if that happens to just make sure that they can get everybody. Tencent is absolutely on a roll, and they bought people yesterday. The people who bought or made Don't Starve have been gobbled up by Tencent as well. They are just buying all around them. It is just really interesting to see, and Amazon and Google need to be in this mix. As much as we all hear about all this becoming into super corporations, they need the content, and that's content is key.
So I was talking
another thing to think about is if somebody picks up Ubisoft, they could get a timed exclusive to the next Star Wars game, which would be pretty huge.
True. That's true.
I'm going to say this. I am expecting Indiana Jones, and even if Ubisoft gets taken up by someone, that will be multi-platform because these deals would be in
No,
before play.
I'm saying it will be multi-platform, but it opens up the window for a time exclusive.
I would Disney would there would be serious money would have to change hands for that to be a timed exclusive. The Spider-Man on PlayStation is different because they actually own the movie rights.
There you go. Or you just admitted, why doesn't Disney just buy Ubisoft and get them to make all the Disney games? It solves the problem.
Hey, it can happen.
It could happen. Netflix.
Yeah, seriously. A friend of mine was telling me, he's really close. I can't say too much, but he was telling me that Tencent was actually looking into the Bethesda and that whole acquisition, and that's why Microsoft kind of rushed to finalize that deal. And so if that's taking place, right, in the background, if Tencent's like really that aggressive to push and they're going for Take-Two, best believe they're trying to approach, it's going to be a madhouse in 2021 when all these stuff start. If it does happen, it's going to be crazy.
Exactly, and that is why Amazon and Google need to be in the mix to actually be this. If Amazon start buying up people and Google don't, Google is going to be in a world of hurt.
They need to. I can't stress that enough. They really need to start opening up their wallets for sure. But guys, we are out of time. It's so crazy because this is fun, man. We can chat about cloud gaming all day, but we gotta respect people's time. But appreciate you guys watching. Again, this is cool. We do this every Saturday at 2 p.m. So if that's something you guys are interested in, check us out next week as well. But I do want to give the members of this panel a chance to just plug the channels and let them know where you can find them. So to get started, Mark, where can people find you? What do you do?
Mark Wants VOG over on YouTube and Twitter for cloud gaming VR accessory videos, and Mark VOG on TikTok for 3D printing.
There you go. There you guys. I still got to check.
It's awesome, by the way.
Oh, you've checked it out?
I've checked out Mark Watts on TikTok.
I don't have a TikTok, so I'm gonna create one just to check you out.
I've forced a few people to create one just to check it out. Yeah.
Did you actually get Mark Watts on TikTok? Or
No, I was less willing to put my full name on there for some reason.
True. How about you, Duncan? Where can people find you, and what do you do?
You can find me at Wonderscape and also with Cloudy with Games. Just come and enjoy the madness, which is my head.
There you go. How about you, host? What do you do and where can people
You can get me on Twitter on Cloud Gaming Club or Holtz86, either or.
There you go. All right, Ben, where can people find you and what do you do, sir?
Mainly Discord. I'm in all the servers. Basically all the guys on this podcast. I'm active in all their servers and there to answer questions if you have any, and use the knowledge that I've got and help people out.
For sure. Good stuff. Always appreciate you just stopping by the Discord and chatting it up. But other member of this panel is Jerry from Game Tech Planet. He's not here, but check him out too. He's doing some awesome stuff, especially with Hitman coming out. So GTP for sure. All right, fellas, appreciate you guys, man. Thank you for joining us. This is always fun chatting with you guys and talking with the members of the panel. So again, we'll be back next Saturday at 2 p.m. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.